ओम यतीन्द्रोपास विग्रहाय नमः। ओम मंदारहार रुचिराय नमः। ओम मदनायुत सुंदराय नमः। ओम मंदस्मित लसत्वक्त्राय नमः। ओम मधुराधर पल्लवाय नमः। ओम मंजीर मंजुपादाब्जाय नमः। ओम मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः। ओम हस्तांकुरित चिन्मुद्राय नमः। ओम हठयोग परोत्तमाय नमः। ओम हंसजक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ओम हंसेद्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः। ओम मेरुशृंगतटोल्लसाय नमः। ओम मेघश्याम मनोहराय नमः। ओम मेधांकुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः। ओम मेधापक्वफलद्रुमाय नमः। ओम धार्मिकान्तर्गुहावासाय नमः। ओम धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ओम धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ओम धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ओम प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः। ओम प्रकाशितजगत्र्याय नमः। ओम प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ओम प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ओम ज्ञानान्तरभासात्मने नमः। ओम ज्ञातृज्ञातिविदूरगाय नमः। ओम ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ओम ज्ञातृज्ञालिकुलागताय नमः। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ओम प्रणतार्थब्दिवाडवाय नमः। ओम भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ओम प्रपंचहितकारकाय नमः। ओम यत्तत्त्वमसि संवेद्याय नमः। ओम यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय नमः। ओम यज्ञादिदेवतामूर्तये नमः। ओम यजमानवपुर्धराय नमः। ओम छत्राधिपति विश्वेश्वाय नमः। ओम छत्रसामरसेविताय नमः। ओम छन्दशास्त्रादिनिपुणाय नमः। ओम छलजात्यादिदूरगाय नमः। ओम स्वाभाविकसुखैकात्मने नमः। ओम स्वानुभूतिरसोदतये नमः। ओम स्वाराज्यसम्पदध्यक्षाय नमः। ओम स्वात्माराममहामतये नमः। ओम हाटकावजटाजूटाय नमः। ओम हासोदस्तारिमण्डलाय नमः। ओम हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ओम हार्दग्रन्थिविमोचकाय नमः। ओम श्रीमेधादक्षिणमूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ओम श्री दयानंद सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री महेशानंद सद्गुरवे नमः। So shall we do meditation? ॐ प्रातस्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वम्। सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यत् स्वप्नजागर सुषुप्तमपैति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। A Vedantic meditation is also a prayer. It is an intelligent prayer to Ishvara. An intelligent prayer to Ishvara in the form of a request to Ishvara for me to understand the nature of this life, the experiences, and Ishvara. So as a Vedantic prayer, as a prayer to Ishvara, this meditation is to appreciate the two aspects of Ishvara. So one aspect is one type of prayer would be Saguna Upasana. And the other segment, the other type of prayer is Nirguna Upasana. Upasana means a prayer, but a prayer whose core is a request to understand and to appreciate. So, Saguna Upasana, meaning the presence of Ishvara's order, Ishvara's structure, within my experiences, as my experiences. Experiences that are not me, but they seem to affect me. So in this segment comes all of my experiences, including my status as an individual, my personality, my individuality, the way my mind works, the way my body is, the way my experiences of happiness and unhappiness, all of this. And to see in these experiences the order of Ishvara. How my situations are revealed to me, how my desires are fulfilled or unfulfilled, all of that. The limitations, and perhaps the most important, the temporary nature of the experiences. Starting at a point, ending at a point. This is the characteristic of mithya. One which is neither not there because it does appear to me, neither is it nor is it there because it disappears. And to see the order and the structure the systematic set of experiences that I experience, and to appreciate how it is regulated and given to me, is the Saguna Upasana. Here, details are neither possible nor necessary, but an overall view of the presence of Ishvara in the order of my experiences is Saguna Upasana. In my meditation, I become aware of this Saguna Upasana. My meditation is in the form of Saguna Upasana. the nature of this Saguna Upasana is Anatma. It happens to me, but it's not me. Then the other type of meditation is Nirguna Upasana. Here, in the form of pure consciousness, pure awareness, the presence of Ishvara as I, the Atma, is the nature of this meditation, Nirguna Upasana. In this Upasana, in this meditation, there is an appreciation of Ishvara's presence as I, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. An appreciation of not the personality, but the person behind the personality. This meditation is all about appreciating the freedom, the independence, the amazing beauty of the Atma. That my nature is knowledge in the form of I know. It is in the form of reality, Satyam, meaning it is the very nature of beingness. I am. And it is the very nature of self-existence, and self-conscious, self-revealing. So, this meditation needs to cover both the Saguna Upasana and Nirguna Upasana. And in doing so, be aware of be appreciative of the distinctions between the person and the personality. This is Viveka. This is the discriminative knowledge. Be able to distinguish through a prayer between Atma and Anatma. The Anatma, not me, things that happen to me are transitory. And me, which is always there, Satyam, always the nature of knowledge, Jnanam, and without any limitations. So, this Vedantic meditation, which is the nature of a prayer to Ishvara, is to develop the capacity, the skill to appreciate both the aspects of Ishvara. One is the entire set of experiences and two, the nature of the person, me, on which these experiences occur. This is the Vedantic meditation. And my prayers to Ishvara is to make sure I am skilled in doing this meditation. Through my effort, through my prayers, through my commitment, through my practice, I become more skilled in this meditation. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya-kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Gukarastvandakaro Vai Rukarastvannivartakaha Andhakara Virodhitvat Gurulikyabhidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Verse number 8 and 9. Soyamatma adhyaksharam
Soyamatma adhyaksharam
Omkarodhimatram
Omkarodhimatram
Padamatra
Padamatra
Matraschapada
Matraschapada
Matra akara ukaro makara iti
Matra ukara ukaro makara iti
Jagritasthano Vaishvanaraha
Jagaritasthano Vaishvanaraha
Akaraha prathama matra
Akaraha prathama matra
Apteradimatvat
Apteradimatvat
Apnoti havai sarvan
Apnoti havai sarvan
Kaman
Kaman
Adishcha bhavati ya edam veda
Adishya bhavati yadekam veda.
See, so we need to turn this thing on. I think somehow the remote control is missing.
Is that? Yeah.
So before we start on the verse number 8, which is the essence of this of talk, this class, some grammar on this called adhyaksharam. I don't think we covered it last time, so I just want to go over that first. Adhyaksharam. So Adhyaksharam, so Saha Ayam Atma Adhyaksharam. This is what is being talked about. So Adhyaksharam means it has the two forms of Adhi Aksharam. So Adhi means pertaining to, with reference to, with respect to, is called Adhi. So with respect to a word, Aksharam means a word. Actually here it means two different things, but they are combined into one. Aksharam means one that does not ksharati, which does not go, is called Aksharam, which does not achyutam, which never decays, always stays the same, is called Aksharam. But here the word also is called Aksharam. So in fact it's more relevant to use the word Aksharam as a word rather than the quality of Achyutam. We'll see that later on. But here the word Aksharam means pertaining to. So for example, pertaining to a body, in this case would be Adhyatmam, or pertaining to me in general, body, mind complex is called Adhyatmam. And then pertaining to Devatas is called Adidaivam. Pertaining to the world would be Adilokam, Adibhutam. So it's called Adibhutam. So the word Adi means pertaining to Aksharam. So now we can begin the analysis of verse number 8. So as we saw last week, just a revision of this, that the name and the person or the object pertaining to the name are, even though one and the same, they can be used in a different sense. So normally when you say a word like a chair, so the word chair, C-H-A-I-R, and the object chair are indistinguishable. So can you please bring a chair? Well, you cannot bring a name chair, you have to bring the object and say, is there any chair here? So they're indistinguishable, but you can use the name and the object slightly differently. So for example, as you know very well, when in India, when a Hindu person dies and they're taking his body to the cremation, everybody says, Rama Nama Satya Hai. Rama Nama Satya Hai. This is what everybody just chants. Somehow you just grow up thinking like, and so whenever you hear the word Rama Nama Satya Hai, that means that somebody is dead and they are being carried on 4 people are carrying the body. So here Rama Nama, and in fact our acharyas have said that, in some cases you can say that the name is more important than the person behind the name. Because if you, in this particular example, Rama is no longer available. He lived in thousands of years back, and he did live. We know it's not a story. It is definitely a historical fact. But he's no longer here. But his name persists. And so this is what is called a name separate from a named. So this is called Abhidheya Abhidhana. So why is this important in this particular case? We will see this. So here Adi Shankara also says that the first 7 verses, or actually verse number 3 to number 7, was pertaining to the person called the Atma. Atma was the person, and ending with the na bahish pragyahana antah pragyahana ubhata pragyaha. So that is describing and understanding the person. Now, it is not, this is what is called abhidheya pradhana. Now it is abhidhana pradhana, means now the emphasis is on the name. Because a person needs to have a name. You cannot have a person without a name. How will you refer to it? How will you understand it? How will you deal with it? All of that has to be there. So now, the name of Atma is being described in the form of Omkara. Omkara is the name of the Atma. And it's the name of Ishvara. It's the name of Brahman. It's all the same person. They're not different people. So here, the name is not that of you and I as an individual. That name is given by our parents, and sometimes we change it and so on. That's a different thing altogether. This is the name of the Atma, which is the very nature of each one of us. There is only one Atma in the world. One Atma. And this is the name of the Atma. And so we will see actually very shortly, why is this name given to the Atma? Because as we saw in the last class also, the name should really be relevant and it should be appropriate to the Vastu. Vastu, to the thing. It should be appropriate. That's why you, for example, you cannot, actually this is an interesting thing. One of my wife's clients, I was about to say that and then I'm just actually negating it. One of my wife's clients, an American person, his name is the Mouse. He's a very big person. I don't know why his name is called. So they all say, is Mouse here? And first time I heard it, he says, what are they talking about? And so in India also you cannot say Mr. Chuha Singh. It's not appropriate, not appropriate. So the name has to be appropriate. And we will see why the name Om is appropriate for the Atma. So that will come in just 1 minute. So now, let's revise the other reason why a name is important. We saw this. And if you remember, the key word for this is aropa. And aropa. Aropa means a form that you give to something. So just look at the logic of this Mandukya. Very beautiful. We must understand the very basic logic of this. So we saw that aropa is normally one kind, which becomes very natural because of non-understanding. A natural aropa of a falsehood on a truth is the natural aropa. And we saw the examples of that. So when you say, this is mine, this is the aropa. We saw so many examples that this child is mine. So here, the very sense of ownership, the extra attention we give, the extra thinking we have about this is called aropa. So as we saw, really speaking, that the truth is that nothing belongs to you. You are a trustee, even your bank account. is given to you for use. Because how come it is not mine? Because you yourself are not yours. You also have a very temporary situation in life. But that's not you. You are somebody more than just the temporary you. So even though you are also not permanent, and the things that you are associated with are also not permanent, but at this point I don't understand any of that. So I just say, this is my bank. This is how much money I have. This is my son. This is my daughter. So this is what is called a natural aropa. And so here Swami Maheswaranji really presented this very well. He says aropa can be in one of two types. One is where you are, so listen to this carefully. One is where you are imposing non-truth upon truth. The truth is that the people born through you and I are independent people. They have a tremendous history behind them and a tremendous future which you and I have absolutely no idea. Long after we are gone, they are going to go someplace else. This is the truth. But I am unaware of the truth. I am not cognizant of it. And for the time being, I just say this is mine. It has nothing to do with taking care of the people. Absolutely. As a trustee, we should do that. But the sense of ownership is an aropa. Then Swami Maheshananji says, please see that the opposite aropa is also very important. What is the opposite aropa? It is to impose truth on untruth. This is very important. This has to be appreciated. The first thing to be appreciated is that my casual understanding that this child belongs to me, this money is mine, and so on and so forth, is an aropa. That one should understand. Then comes the more important aropa. That just like you can put aropa of, by the way, the word aropa can also be used in the term of upasana. So upasana means a prayer. So the first type of aropa is perhaps not full an upasana. But the second type of aropa is definitely an upasana. And this is the very fundamental core of the Hindu Vedic thinking. And what is that? To impose truth on something which is not really there. And so the classic example is that you take a vigraha of Dakshinamurti, but you see something more in it. It is not just seen as a piece of metal or a stone, but to see some bhavana, which is the truth. Because Dakshinamurti is someone who is extremely powerful, very capable, who can really give you really the answers to all of your prayers. And I am not sure how or where Dakshinamurti is. This is the truth. So I impose that truth on something which could even be arbitrary. Doesn't matter. It is not true. Whether it is made out of metal or stone, it doesn't almost matter. But a aropa of truth upon untruth is an important one, because I am using this aropa to improve my understanding of the truth. This is the thing that is the very core of the prayers of the Hinduism. And we went through all of that and so on. So now we can close the loop. And look at this. The essence of verse number 8 is, just like we do the aropa or the upasana of Dakshinamurti on the altar, we should do the upasana of Atma on the letter Om. This is what we're going to pursue. So this is the key to verse number 8. This is the key for Abhidheya and Abhidhana, the name and the vastu behind the name. So it's very possible that the name may not be the truth, but it is the very appropriate name of the truth. And what we need to do is, in order to improve my understanding of the vastu, which is myself, amazingly, I need to do an upasana. I don't need to, but it will be good to do it, because for me to struggle to understand the nature of myself, I need all the help I can. And this is a good help, which is to do an upasana of the Atma upon the Om. This is the crux of the verse number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is what is called Abhidhana Pradhana. So here, the word Om is called Omkara. So when you say Omkara, it literally in English would mean the word Om. Kara means the word. So this is called Mamakara, means mine, the word mine. Ahankara, when you say Ahankara, it means the word me. So here we make a distinction. So when you say Ahankara, this is not Atma. This is the mental thinking that this is me. So that mental thinking is called Ahankara, Mamakara, Omkara. So here Omkara means the word Om. Okay, this is one thing. Now, it turns out that the word Om signifies the identity of Jivatma and Paramatma. Identity of Jivatma and Paramatma. So, this we should know this well. It is, I am cognizant of myself as a conscious person. It is very obvious. I am conscious, I know. This is very clear. So this is what is called Jivatma. Jivatma means a conscious person. What I don't know, that the Jivatma is actually Paramatma. And the reason that I don't know is because I am always viewing myself along with my limitations, as though my limitations and myself are part and parcel of the same vastu. This is my view. This is the Jivatma. Jivatma means I am conscious. That means, how long have you been conscious? 50, 60 years. And will you become unconscious? Yes. As soon as I die, I'm going to be gone. This is my view. Very limited. And that also night time, somehow my consciousness leaves me. And if I fall down and I become unconscious, that means that I become vulnerable to losing my consciousness. These are the views that I have. They're totally wrong. So this is where the Jivatma and the Paramatma are not understood properly. There is no Jivatma. It is just an imposition. It is just an aropa. So just like we say, there is really no such thing as a room space. It's only for the sake of some limitation, some transaction rather, not limitation, some transaction. How much space do we have, etc., etc. Car space, house space. But there's only one space. You cannot take the house space separately from space. So this is the situation. Really speaking, the freedom of life is to understand the identity between Jivatma and Paramatma. And the word Om signifies it. It signifies it. So, for example, there is a phrase which says Soham. Soham. Soham means Saha Aham. Saha Aham. Saha means Paramatma, means Ishvara, and Aham means the Jivatma. So there in the word Soham, if you take away Sa and Ha, then what is left behind is Om. As we will see in more detail exactly how that is happening. So this is one thing. The second thing is that there is a distinction between vowels in a language and consonants in a language. Vowel is where the real substance is. And consonant makes that substance express itself in a particular form. So you take, for example, in the Sanskrit language, the vowels are A, E, U, R, and then some variations, A and O, Ow, E, short E, etc. And by the way, this is how the whole human face and the sound is made by Ishvara. These are the vowels. This is where the substance is. But you can actually express the substance through consonants. So for example, the word could be Ka, because in Ka or Kha or Ga, you cannot have a consonant without the vowel. The vowel is the substance, but the vowel can be modified by the consonant. So you cannot say for example, the consonant Ka has K. You can't even pronounce it. So you need the substance to pronounce it, but you can modify the substance slightly. Ka, Kha, Ga, Chi, Mu, etc. You can do all of that. So similarly here, in the word Soham, the Sa and Ha are consonants. What does it really mean? In the reality that we see in our life, the Jiva and the Parama are consonants. Jivatma, in the word Jivatma, it consists of Jiva plus Atma. So Jiva is the consonant and the Atma is the vowel. And in Paramatma also, the word Parama is the consonant. In that case, it is really not Nirguna Brahma, but Saguna Brahma. the very vastness of it, the power of it, sarvagyaha, sarvagyatvam, etc. That is also the consonant. The power of Ishvara is the consonant. The reality of both Ishvara and the Jiva is the same, which is the Atma. And so that Atma is the Om. That Atma is now analyzed in terms of how it reveals to us. To see the reality of that Atma is the word Om. The word Om, as I said before, every vastu must be and have an appropriate name. This is the appropriate name for Atma, and how it has three aspects of it: A, U, and M. Makara. A, U, M. So if you combine those three, A plus U becomes O. And M is the ending, so it becomes Om. So these are the three portions of it. So here it's interesting, Swami Maheshananji says that in Upasana, there needs to be some similarity. There needs to be some similarity. And if there's no similarity, then it is an inappropriate name. In fact, the Upasana itself is not appropriate. So he gave an example. He says, it is recommended in the Hindu culture that women should not do an upasana to Hanuman. It is not do upasana. Why? Because it's very possible the women, if you do upasana, they might grow mustache. And they'll become so strong that their husbands will suffer because of that. So it is not appropriate for women to, for men, yes, if they want to become a little stronger, they should do the upasana for Hanuman. So there needs to be some similarity between the upasaka and upasya, the one who is praying and the one who is praying to. Here, the Jivatma, it is very appropriate for the Jivatma to seek the identity with Paramatma. Very appropriate. Why? Because our core is the same. It's just that I've got some funny notion about my limitations. That's a separate thing altogether. This is where the upasana comes in, where you have to reimpose the truth upon the untruth. It is very appropriate to do so. Now, an important point. Atma, in the verses number 3 to 7, was introduced in 4 segments. Right? So we saw the Atma being introduced in 4 segments. What were the 4 segments? One is as a waker. One as a dreamer. One as a deep sleeper. And the 4th one, which is Turiya, which is common to all the other 3 but still separate from the other 3. These are the 4 segments of the Atma. So therefore, the name must also have 4 segments to it. Otherwise, the name will not be appropriate to the vastu. And it does. It does. So now the Omkara will also be introduced and described in 4 quarters. This is the meaning of Pada and Matra. So now we can go back to verse number 8. Saha ayam atma. Saha ayam atma. Adhyaksharam. Omkaraha. This is all from the flowers from my garden. Pada Matra. The padas are the 4 segments that were described earlier in verse number 3 to 7. Matra are the 4 portions of Omkara. And those 2 are 1-to-1. Why? Because the name and the namee, the named, should be the same. And those are, what are the matras? A, U, and This is what it is saying. So now we can see the entire one, number 8. Saha ayam atma adhyaksharam omkaraha adimatram. Adimatram means what? Pertaining to the way the word is called adimatram. Because we saw this is another thing to remember, that a representation of a vastu can be in one of 2 ways. One is called a pratima. Pratima means a vigraha that has a certain form. So here in Dakshinamurtis, so for example, the way Dakshinamurti is, how it is surrounded, and the powers of it and so on are all represented in the pratima. This is called a representation of the vastu in the form of a pratima. But you can also have the representation of a vastu in a pratika, which is a name. So this is something which the eyes need to see. A pratika is something that the mind needs to see. The eyes of the mind have to be employed. So there the pratika is Omkara. And so this is where, just like you do a upasana, as we saw earlier, you do an upasana of Dakshinamurti on the pratima. Here we are doing a upasana of the Atma on the pratika, Omkara. And those are having 4 matras, 4 different parts. So akara means the word ukara means the word u, and makara means the word iti. And then the 4th turiya will come later on. Okay. So this is the verse number 8. Okay, let us just look at that, see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, now he describes the 4 matras. So this is the introduction, that the word Omkara has 4 matras. What are those 4 matras, and why are they the 4 matras the way it is? It's described in verse number 9. So we saw that already. First one is akara, Here Swami Dayanandji had pointed out, just a separate from this, same thing that I was saying earlier, that So for example, this is interesting to see. Look at this. You have every school of thought, every religion has a word for God, isn't it? So, whatever it is word for God. Why is we find, and we have to justify this, we find that the word for God that the Vedic knowledge has is the most appropriate. See, look at this. So if you were to, supposing there is a kind of like a UN meeting, and in the UN meeting you have 150 countries together, and the purpose is, let us define a name for God. Somebody says, I think it should be this. Some African country, they will have their own name in Swahili, and the Muslims will have their own Allah, etc. Everybody, so this should be there. The Hindus will say, our name is Om. So now the question is, let us decide what is the most appropriate. We have to have a single one for everybody. That applies to everyone. Okay? We're not sure of the etymology for all the other names, but we propose, because one thing we should do is that the name of God should be appropriate for everybody, not just for Hindus. See, this is the important thing. It is not a Hindu name. It is an appropriate name for God. Why? Because it is the most appropriate representation of all human beings. Jagrit, so there we says, Matraha Padra, Padaha, Matra Pada. Everyone has 4 padas. Whether you're born in Africa or in India or United States or something, you are also a Jagrita Sthana, Swapna Sthana. Everyone has the 4 things. Not as the Hindus are the alone that have a dream or a dreamer. This is the creation of Ishvara. Look at this. Everyone has the same. Everyone has a portion where they are awake, some portion where they are dreaming, some portion where they are deep sleep. And so the name of Ishvara, or the name of, I would say, name of Atma. Atma means the very core of all human beings. Must be appropriate, that represents the 4 quarters of all human beings. I remember Swami Dayanandji had pointed this out a long time ago. Beautiful. This is the most appropriate name. So if you had this United Nations debate, and there are subcommittees and saying, how should we do this, which one should, one name has to be adopted. This will win out, because it is common to everyone. Om is the common name for Atma, which is the common name for Ishvara, the common name for Paramatma, for Jivatma. Everyone is Om. So now we are describing why. What does Om mean? Om means that there is a there is a U, and a Makara. What do you mean by, oops, what did I do? Oh, sorry. Now I figured out how to get back. At first but this back button is very important. You just go back to the same one. So now we'll take up the first one, which is So this is what is being described in verse number 9. Jagrita sthanaha vaishvanaraha akaraha. So, the word means akaraha, represents the waking experience of everyone. The waking experience of everyone. And why the word is chosen? Why shouldn't we choose some or something like this? Because he says, Aptehe adimatvat apnoti havai sarvan kaman adischa bhavati sa evam veda. The word is chosen. Let's look at the English translation of the verse number 9. He who is Vaishvanaraha, having the waking state at his sphere of activity, is indicated by the letter A, here but in English A, because being the first, because it is all pervasive. One who knows this attains all desires and becomes the first of all. So that is the last part of the verse number 9 is the result. Is the result of one who really meditates on the word Okay? Meditates on the word So I want to spend some time on Sarvan Kaman Apnoti. This is a very beautiful explanation of this given by Swami Maheshwaraji. So I want to get to that. I hope I have enough time for that. But before that, the word is chosen because, first of all, it is the common sound that is at the core of all sounds. In fact, the moment you open your mouth, the word E doesn't come, U doesn't come, because you have to twist your muscles a little bit to create those. But the common one is And so therefore, and so here also it is said that the common experiences of everyone from which the other experiences come is the waking state. So the waking state is the one that generates the thoughts out of which dreams are formed. And the waking state is the one which is the beginning of your life. And it gives rise to, and in fact another thing is, it is said, you cannot gain freedom in the other states. All the freedom can only be done when your mind is awake. You cannot be free, even though you are free completely, but you don't realize that you're free except in thinking through the waking state. You cannot realize that you are free by sleeping. This is exactly why sleep is a good experience, but you're not any wiser. You come back same old limited person as you went to sleep. Dreamer also, your things are so vague that you cannot think properly. So the waking state is the most important one in terms of your gateway to the other directions or other experiences, and this is where the gateway to freedom will come. So that's why the is the most important. And this is the place for Vaishvanara. This is where the visible, Vaishvanara means the visible parts of the whole creation are called Vaishvanara. Very easily understandable. People, situations, etc. Vaishvanara. So this is akara prathama matra aptehe adimatvatva apnoti. Okay, so up to that word, this is aptehe adimatvat. Adimatvat means that it is the most prominent. This is where it all starts, and that's why the word because the letter is common in all languages. You see, it's very possible that, for example, in some other languages, that you, like example in English, the word is not used very much. Even though the sound is there, but you begin with A, where you have to open your mouth much wider. A, B. But in Sanskritam, which is the God's language, the most common sound and the most common letter is So that's why it is that. Now comes the result of doing upasana to the letter which is included in Om. So you don't have to separately do it with the but if you want to, you can actually direct your upasana towards the and if you do that, there are two results. One is sarvan kaman apnoti and adischa bhavati. Adischa bhavati. So in English it means that first of all, you will fulfill all your desires, and you will fulfill desires happily. And also, so we'll come to that in 1 second, but let's go to the second one first. Adi matvat, adi vishabhavati. If you understand the as the identity between Jivatma and Paramatma, no one will get as much respect as you will. And even at a incomplete level, I can tell you this from our experiences, that if somebody says, if somebody who knows a little bit about Vedanta, if somebody meets me, some stranger, and says, what do you do, you're retired, what do you do? If I tell them that I'm a teacher of Vedanta, they'll say, oh, interesting. If they don't believe me, that's a separate thing. How can this guy be teaching Vedanta? He's not even a Swami or anything like this. That's a separate thing altogether. I understand that. But for a minute, they stop. Say, really? So that means that they have a certain innate respect. And so really, this is what it is said, is that a person who understands Vedanta gains the respect that is not given to anyone else. This is the mean by, it says, adischa bhavati. I'm telling you, this is Swami, read this. This is what it is, says. Anyway, that's a separate thing. Let's talk about sarvan kaman apnoti. So, an introduction to kaman for a minute. Okay? In the next 7-8 minutes. So this is an important thing to see. So here Swami Maheswaranji explains that our desires can be classified as either ethical or non-ethical. So ethical meaning one which is described and sanctioned by Shastras is called ethical desires. Non-ethical means the Shastra says don't do it. Don't do it. But you still do it. Okay? So let us segment our desires in both of them. So for sake of simplicity, from a technical standpoint, Shastra Anukula Ichcha and Shastra Ananukula Ichcha. One which is sanctioned or one which is not sanctioned. Now, let us look at that. So Swami Maheshananji says, here's the nature of desires that are unethical. What happens is that unethical desires are driven by intense desires and give you a temporary high. It does. Forget about spiritual things. If you're supposing you're diabetic and your doctor said, by the way, no sugar, absolutely no sugar. But you go to an ice cream store and you said, one ice cream, what is going to happen? It's no big deal. This is what we call unethical desire from a diabetic standpoint. It will give you an immediate high. And one desire is not enough. That just means you have other things also. I can have desserts and so on and so forth. You suffer because of that. So the nature of unethical desires is it gives you a high, but it's not a good bargain in the long term. Avoid it. Absolutely avoid it. And from a standpoint of morality and spirituality is even worse. That if you're married, stay with your spouse. Don't fool around. And those kinds of things. So this is the segment of the unethical desires. Now comes the more interesting part of ethical desires. Swamiji explains that ethical desires, you have to be very careful about which of the ethical desires you should have. Okay? And so this is a very interesting thing Swamiji says that ethical desires should be pursued to the degree that you are capable of fulfilling that desire. So he gives the example. He said, supposing you have 100 rupees in your pocket. You should look for things that you can buy for 100 rupees or less. That is a very appropriate use of ethical desire. If you start, if your salary is $20,000 a year, and you look at a BMW that costs twice your salary or 4 times your salary, you know what will happen? It will give you dukkha. It will give you sorrow. But if you have the capability, then ethical desires will give you sukha. So that means the more capable you get, capable meaning in the sense of, if you look at a larger canvas of desires, if you are able to muster your life and your mind and your desires in a way that you stay within the envelope of the ethical desires, you will have a very happy life. So here it is, now we can close the loop. In the upasana towards of the Omkara, you now have the prayers to Ishvara that may I proceed toward reality rather than just thinking about unreal things and even to understand the unreality of things. So I become more real, more capable, more understanding of the enormity of the Paramatma. So what this means is that you are now getting richer, more capable, more within yourself, less dependent on outside things, naturally. And so now what will happen is, first of all, several things will happen. One is that your desires that are irrational will go away, because you're not really that curious about things, about other things anyway. You're appreciating the truth about yourself, the ananda of yourself. So your desires themselves will diminish. But more importantly, the ones that you do desires will be fulfilled. Will be fulfilled. Both because of your own capability and the help that you will get from Ishvara. Here, to close off this, Swami Maheswaranji says, please remember that this is not a complete cessation of desires. That comes from Jnanam, from being a Jivan Mukta. We're not talking about that. This is just the relative. I am still proceeding along the lines of becoming one. In that line of becoming one, you will actually find your ethical desires will give you a lot of sukha. And why is that? What is the logic of that? The logic we should understand that, first of all, the unethical desires, don't do it. That's a stupidity. If you want to do it, just have some high, that's fine, but it's not going to give you, it'll give you a little bit of sukha. It's not a good investment. It is not a good investment. Now we go into the ethical desires. In the ethical desires also, your life should be something which should be intelligently for your own sukham. And the more capable you get, the more sukham you will have. And so please increase your ability before you desire. I remember that even my grandfather used to say that, first deserve and then desire. It's beautiful advice. This is exactly what it is said. And so the logic of this is that really you will see that your pursuit of desires, which are beautiful. Bhagavan Ishvara has given us the sense of desiring. There's much more to be said about this. That Ishvara, that in Gita says that you should have no desires whatsoever. That is the ultimate one. We're not there at that point. I'm just talking about the very conduct of my life while I am increasing my understanding and so on. In that conduct, it is much better for you to grow your capability and then have the desires appropriate to that capability. So that is the meaning of this anyway. So we'll pursue with this some more. So in summary, so this is why the word Om is an important one, because you are doing a trial of understanding by imposing the truth upon something which may not be apparently true. Just like you're doing puja. This is like puja to the Atma. Oh, so the more you use it, the more you utter it, and the more you understand the constituents of Omkara, the closer you will get to the understanding of the reality of the Atma. That is the sense of what this Mandukya Upanishad is. Very beautiful, very profound, amazing. So with that, we'll close today's class. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirmaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Yeah, question?
I just missed one thing is Adimatva means what did you say?
Adimatvat means one which is the very beginning. So, when you do anything, you start with Yeah. Yeah.
So when we talk about the matras in Om, so U, Ma, and then they're representing waking, dream, and deep sleep. And then is Turiya represented with silence, right? That's
Silence.
silence.
Silence is the Turiya.
Yeah.
Nature of Atma is silence.
So it's the silence between the two Omkaras or just silence? Or?
In between and beginning and,
Okay.
I mean, things come out of silence, all sounds, and they resolve in silence. Yeah.
The most important part of the language is silence
Yes,
between the two.
absolutely. Yes. Here, one other thing is, we will perhaps discuss it more, but I can mention it. It should not be pronounced as Aum. Like, even though it has these four constituents, the constituents are not to be pronounced separately. It should be Om rather than Aum.
And the name, there should not be an extension on the...
So there's, I think that has to do with some technical aspects of it, which I'm not sure, that Nirukta and all of these, but yeah, there should be three matras, three. So normally, when you say one matra is, when you say that
that much.
the unit of time is a single matra. Here it should be for three matras. That is the right
Right,
one.
but the U should not be multiple matras.
Not be multiple matras. Yeah.
Got it.
So when you chant it,
Yeah.
some people, both ways I have heard.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I'm not to Vedic way.
Yeah.
Is O elongated or
None.
elongated?
Yeah, I'm not sure about, I haven't really looked into, I remember, so two things were explained to us. One is, it is not appropriate to say, that's not right. The second one is that the normal matras is a three matra. And anything longer than that, it may not be wrong, but is not appropriate. Yeah, Rani, sorry.
So you explained that in the word soham,
Yeah,
if you take out the sa and the ha,
Yes.
the consonants,
Correct.
you're left with om.
yes.
But ma is also a consonant.
So we should do
Ma is a consonant, but it is the ending. We will see that.
Okay.
That question will come on the makara. It is so. In that case, the entire om, along with the makara, is the central part, and so that is a figurative way. So this is what is called in some of the technical dissemination of words. So that is just a figurative way of saying that ha and sa are removed, and the central part is ma. So in that case, the makara, even though it is a consonant, stays within the central part. So it's a figurative way of saying it, not a technical way of saying it. Yeah. Govinda?
About upasana and superposition, like you were saying about Om, how will it produce the result of enlightenment?
So what we were saying is that in general what happens is that we have covered up, or we continuously cover up our true potential by clinging on to the limitations inherent in the word jivatma. We just think this is the way it is. I don't know if there's anything else. This is all religious thoughts. I don't know if I'm... So all those kinds of things come up in my mind. So that means that I am just unnecessarily clinging to a small, limited version of who I really am. So by doing all these steps, so which would be called a push-pull, some that you expect Ishvara to pull you, some that you have to push yourself, through all these methods, what you're really trying to do is to focus less on your perceived limitations and focus more on your inherent potential, which you have covered yourself with. You don't want to really, for whatever reason, you don't want to pursue that for the time being. So this is the general trend of what we need to do. And so as part of the general trend, one thing would be where you remind yourself from time to time by doing the ucharana of Om. And the ucharana of Om is backed by some understanding. Really, the study of the constituents of Omkara with the details that we're studying will embellish your ucharanam of Om with some facts behind it. So it's not just a child saying Om, but as an adult that understands what is the reality behind it. So that is very helpful in order for you to acquire the identity with the larger potential of who you really are. So that's overall understanding. All right, very good. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, so I have this, but you can give me You give me the check copies. I have Vijayji's check copies. All those have been entered.
Okay.
And these are the checks, right? Okay.
The pledges I'm giving her, and I've scanned and sent given copy.
Okay.
All copy of checks I've given her.
Okay.
And so these are checks,
Okay.
and this is the cash.
Okay.
And you had some cash. I have entered all of that.
So I gave $100.
Right.
$100,
So I put
right?
that Ashish.
Ashish Asthana, yes.
So some people who have given cash also want a receipt.
Okay.
And so they have given the email address. I'll send it to you by email.
Then I'll just enter that in.
We don't enter cash now,
We do in LI. We do. because LI has everything.
No, but
right?
we don't know. Some lot of them we don't
Oh,
know.
if
who
it's
did.
anonymous.